Hello everyone and welcome to SentUAMessage, the show that aims to answer your questions about Xbox 360, however tricky, libelous or covered by unbreakable embargoes they may be.
Yeah, that's right. We've plenty of hot gaming news for you this week and we've got some real
Whoa, what's that?
What? Oh, what, that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've been playing Shadows of the Dam this week and the main character's called Garcia Hotspur. Garcia Hotspur! Well, after that, plain old Danmar just didn't seem to cut it, so, you know, nowhere near as dynamic for a young go-getter like me, so I went ahead and
Thrill
changed.
Master though.
Yeah, the business card's being drawn up right now.
Good, that's good to hear. Our first question this week is from Robert Gore, who asks about a new Burnout game. What? Why is it saying that?
Well, it was 2 for 1 at the Deed Poll Centre.
Deed Poll Centre.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Right, we'll kindly change it back.
Fine, it could take up to 5 working days.
Now!
Fine, there you go.
No umlauts. What? Punch juicer doesn't even make sense. Not a word. Thank you. So, Burnout Crash to be more specific, the next game in the Burnout series.
But it might not be what you're expecting.
I'm expecting a driving game where you crash a lot.
Okay, it might be what you're expecting.
What were you expecting?
Well, a dance map real-time strategy game? All right. The point I'm making is that it's quite different to previous Burnout games.
Yes, for a start, it's going to be a downloadable XBLA title with a top-down view, and instead of races, the whole thing is based around Crash Mode, the game mode last seen in Burnout Revenge, where you launch your car into the middle of a busy intersection with the aim of causing as much costly destruction as possible.
It's classic Crash, though. As creative director Richard Frank told GameSpot, you've still got to drive in and crash into traffic. You still have to blow up your crash breaker and move around using aftertouch. So, really, essentially, that part of the game is exactly the same.
But Criterion claims that the simpler visuals allow them to create the most destruction ever seen in a Burnout game.
You can apparently now destroy buildings, parts of the scenery, and of course people's lives, hopes and dreams as you plough through them in your 2-ton supercar or park on top of their house and repeatedly explode like the automotive equivalent of Splosion Man.
The top-down view lets you get a better view of where traffic is coming from, and you'll need to use that knowledge, coupled with the aftertouch mechanic, to score as many points as possible. Think of it like a game of pinball, only with a car instead of a ball, and other cars instead of bumpers, and explosions instead of flippers, and the sky instead of glass covering the table or road.
Yeah, right. There's 3 game modes for you to cause chaos on. Rush Hour, where you cause as much mayhem as you can in 90 seconds. Road Trip, where you have to block a preset number of vehicles from making it across to the other side of the screen, which you'll do by creating impassable walls of carnage. And a third mode where the timer keeps going until all fires on the level have gone out, hopefully leading to a more strategic style of play as you try to eke every last second out of the destruction to maximise your score.
Burnout Crash will also support Kinect for those who don't want the hateful Sisyphean ordeal of lifting a controller to get in the way of their car exploding fun, letting you jump to trigger explosions and lean to move your car while it's in midair.
Now, Burnout Crash is out next month, so keep an eye on the game marketplace for a trial version as soon as it's released. Dean McGuire's got himself all flustered wondering whether or not the free Professor Genki's Hyperordinary pre-order pack for Saints Row the Third is available outside of North America.
Professor what pack?
Professor Genki's Hyperordinary pre-order pack. No? Professor Genki is the beneficent and slightly sadistic feline genius behind international TV sensation Professor Genki's Super Ethical Reality Climax. If you've ever seen shows like Takeshi's Castle or Ninja Warrior, it's like those, only with more fatalities and pandas. To quote the show's catchphrase, it's murder time, fun time!
Oh, Professor Genki. Yes, Dean, the Hyperordinary pre-order pack is also available outside of the USA if, as the name suggests, you pre-order Saints Row the Third. The pack includes...
Born forth from the supreme mind of super genius mancat Professor Genki!
What the hell was that?
No idea. Anyway, the pack features...
Arrives Hyper-Ordinary Pre-Order Pack, featuring splendid devices for maximum pleasure in urban combat. Like super ballistic manapult, powerfully incapacitating octopus guns, and sleek, fashionable stun suit. Prepared ultra tight. Superior pre-order event pre-arranged by generous genius Professor Genki begins now! Ensure the acquisition of yours today!
What?
Do you want an aspirin?
Yeah, please.
The FT Pillowcase, who I guess is a full-time pillowcase or the official pillowcase correspondent for the Financial Times, asks if we've got some info on or footage of the gameplay of Driver San Francisco. Now, Andy, you were in San Francisco last time. You got some info on this, right?
No, Dan, as I'm sure you remember, according to official myth, I was here the whole time. Remember the last episode, how here I was?
Oh, right. You were there, though.
What was the point of getting ILM to do all those special effects if you just going to tell everyone I was here?
Did you get any info or not?
Fine. Yes, I did. Here it is, look.
With the story, it's a kind of a bit of a back to the roots thing.
Oi!
All right.
In terms of bringing the story, the characters back from the original game. So we bring John Tanner. He's involved in a big accident involving Jericho as well, and the accident is a serious accident. It puts him into a coma, and the player realises this at how we tell the story. So the player is, very clear on what's happened. But Tanner, it's almost like he's had a very lucky escape, but he finds he has this ability to shift between people and cars. Now, at first, he just thinks he has this, like a crazy ability, but very quickly he starts to realise that everything is not what it seemed, and that something is definitely wrong in the world. And I don't want to give too much of the story away, but these things start filtering through to him, and he knows that he doesn't have this ability that he thinks he has,
right.
And it's all about how these things filter into him and how he gradually works out what's going on. But what it does allow us to do is to have this shift feature deeply embedded into the story, which allows the player to rapidly and instantaneously shift between multiple characters and multiple cars in the world.
After some hands-on time with the multiplayer, it's clear that a slightly odd shift mechanic actually works really well, particularly for games like Capture the Flag. For example, a rival might be outpacing you on the open road, so to counter you could shift into a tanker half a mile ahead, park it across the street, then shift back into your original car to drive casually up to the ensuing wreckage, and prize the flag from your quarry's smoking hand remains.
Nice. The game is out on 30th of August in the US and 2nd of September in Europe, but we'll have the full interview on Inside Xbox soon if you want to find out more. Exactly where and when it'll be on Inside Xbox is a secret.
EW360 IRL echoes the sentiments of many Kinect owners outside of the UK, North America, Mexico and Japan when he asks when Kinect voice support will expand to include his home country.
Well, there's good news and sort of bad news. It's more opaque news, really. The good news is that Microsoft has pledged to expand support for Kinect's voice recognition sorcery to 8 additional markets by the end of the year, bringing the overall total to 13 supported countries. In addition, the wizards behind Kinect are looking to recruit the Xbox Live community to aid them in refining voice models for these new markets.
Oh, right, so I have to be the bearer of the bad... Opaque news, do I?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, the catch is that the information that Dan has just burped up is as concrete as it gets right now. The 8 additional markets have yet to be confirmed, and details on the live community voice model refining program will be unveiled later in the year.
Of course, once new details materialise, we'll be sure to let you know.
Quadatiki? Whatever. Wants to know what is happening with Double Fine's Trenched in Europe.
Yeah, so Trench is the latest XBLA game from Tim Schafer's Double Fine Productions, following on the heels of their other downloadable gems, Costume Quest and Stacking. A hybrid third-person shooter tower defense game, Trench is set in a post-World War I scenario in an alternative universe. It's described by Tim as extremely manly, and is currently averaging 87 on Metacritic, making it more than worth your time.
However, good luck playing it if you're in Europe. Sadly, Trenched is currently blocked from European release due to a trademark claim from a Portuguese board game called Trench that deals with similar themes.
Firm details on the exact nature of what's going on haven't been particularly forthcoming, but Double Fine's producer Brad Muir has released a statement to gaming site Destructoid where he goes into some detail on where they're at with the process of getting Trenched into the hands of Europeans' many Double Fine fans. He says, "This entire process has been very frustrating to us, and it makes us sad that the people of Europe can't play our game. Microsoft owns the IP for Trenched, and they are working to resolve things as quickly as possible. I wish there were more information to give, but it's still unclear as to how things will shake out. The one thing I do know is that the game will be released in those territories. It might take a while, but Europeans will have the opportunity to stick it to Vlad and his tubes."
Sounds painful. So the process is taking time, but it will be resolved sooner or later. Sorry, we can't be more specific than that. Quadratic. Oh man,
It was a good try, sorry. Sam Martin claims to be running out of post-apocalyptic boomsticks, as if such a thing were possible, and wants to know further details on the next Fallout New Vegas add-on.
Right, so after the casino heisty antics of Dead Money and the two tribes go to war fun of Honest Hearts, Fallout New Vegas is now getting down to the fun business of schlocky 50s horror sci-fi, with the next add-on, Old World Blues, described by Obsidian's Josh Sawyer as the most humorous add-on yet.
Now, story-wise, you'll find yourself transported to the Big Mountain Research Crater, a pre-war technological graveyard inhabited by the Think Tank, a group of human brains in robot bodies who enlist your aid to save them from their own experiments. Experiments that have, shockingly, turned on their creators and are also giant robot scorpions. Also, they're holding your brain to ransom, so you're probably going to want to help them out if you want to get that back.
Yeah, in terms of new weapons, Sam, you can look forward to using the K9000, a heavy machine gun powered by a dog brain, as if you had to ask, the laser-assisted electrical rifle, proton axe, sonic emitter pistol, energy staff, and a rubber glove covered in chemicals.
Ah, the same weapon used by the janitor on the 4th floor.
Told you to tip him at Christmas. There'll also be the usual array of cool new armour and items to snag, as well as some new achievements, and a 5-level rise in the level cap.
Old World Blues is out this Tuesday, July the 19th, and will set you back 800 micro soft points.
Metallic Orphan, who is either a parentless robot or an illiterate enthusiast of my Metallica tribute band Metallicore, wants to know what the exact deal is with the Resident Evil HD games.
Right, so these are the re-released HD versions of classic Resi games, Resident Evil Code Veronica and Resident Evil 4, announced by Capcom in March to celebrate the 15th anniversary of the series. If you didn't play either of these games the first time around, then you're in for a treat, as they're brilliant. Resident Evil 4 being one of the best action games of all time, and Code Veronica X being super creepy and full of zombies and insane cross-dressing aristocrats.
I like that club you go to on Wednesdays.
Hey, the first rule of Cross-Dressing Aristocrats Club is you do not talk about Cross-Dressing Aristocrats Club. Also, you have to be a cross-dressing aristocrat.
I wholeheartedly support that rule. The HD version of Resi 4 will also include Ada Wong's Separate Ways epilogue, which I got in a right huff about not being able to play on my GameCube in 2005. The confusion over the achievement stems from the fact that both games are listed as downloadable arcade releases, but are also listed as having the full 1000 gamer score, usually reserved for resale titles.
Now, the reason for this is that both games are getting a retail release in Japan. However, they'll be download only here, but under the Games on Demand rather than the Xbox Live Arcade banner, so we'll still benefit from some delicious gamer score boosting thanks to this commendable loophole.
Yeah, as Metallicore fan says, Code Veronica has only 12 achievements, meaning you'll be getting a whole bunch of 50 and 100 point achievements as you make your way through the story. Brilliant.
Yep, in answer to the second part of your query, Metallic or fan, the game's current release date is just set as fall 2011 for the moment in the West.
However, they have a confirmed release date of September the 8th in Japan, so it should be pretty close to that. And that's it for another swamming lesson. But remember, your questions are the skylines that we use to get around our dystopian vision of American exceptionalism gone horribly wrong. So send them to us via the SentUAMessage gamer tag or the following more easily archived mediums.
Pop it in a digi envelope and email it to sentuamessage@hotmail.com.
Tweet us at SentUAMessage.
Prepare to be dazzled by countless examples of the English language being flagrantly abused at facebook.com/sentuamessage.
Or we can be contacted through Ouija boards purchased between 1935 and 1937, apparently. I'm not sure why, I suspect it's a glitch.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next.
For a hyper-ordinary pre-order pack!
Really stop it doing that.
I can't switch it off!